The organisms are found on the wide areas on the surface of Earth. And in terms of that, we will be discussing about the migration in the patterns of distribution of the organisms. So, environmental conditions alter with the season, and especially in the higher latitude, and some animals alter their distribution patterns in concert with the seasons, and this is called migration. So, the organisms go from one place to another seasonally, and this is called migration. If you are on the equator, the conditions all around the year will remain the same throughout the year. If you are in a tropical rainforest, there will be high temperatures, there will be more and more rainfall all over the year. But if you are going towards the lesser latitude, just like towards the pole, towards the Arctic region or Antarctica, you would see that there is the weather patterns change all around the year very drastically, and to avoid the those climate changes, those weather changes throughout the year, to lessen the burden on their bodies, some of the organisms migrate, and we will be discussing about that, and this is called migration. So, migration is not to be confused with range expansion or spread of a species. So, we as a human have developed from the apes, and the apes were evolved in Africa. So, we have spread from the Africa to whole continents, but this is not migration. This is range expansion or spread. So migration is different. It is year round pattern of migration, the traveling from one place to another. So it consists of temporary occupation of a region and then mass movement to alternative region. So there is a region where there are less resources in one season, and you are going from that region to another region where there are more resources. These resources can be mating grounds. These resources are, less the temperature which is, suitable to the body. For example, there are some birds which will be going from Arctic to Antarctic region, which we will be discussing in the next slides. So motile organisms are doing the migration. There are microscopic plankton that are capable of changing the depth at which they live, and depending on the condition, and this can be recorded as the form of vertical migration. So in the daytime they will come up, in the night time they will go down, and that is diurnal rather than seasonal. Diurnal means during the daytime instead of seasonal. So, and then their migration often takes in the form of latitudinal movement of animals in order to take advantage of long summer days and high productivity in the high latitudes, and then to retreat to lower latitude to avoid the stresses of the winter season. So if you are familiar with the geography, you will see that in the 6 months there is much more, the winter is on the for example, in the June or July, when the winter is on the upper hemisphere of Asia, Europe, and the North America, that is summer. But for the same time in the June and July, there will be winter in the Australia, New Zealand, or South Africa or South America. So that means there are weather patterns. If there are some organisms which are living in the summer environment, they like more temperature, they will be migrating from these areas year round. So energetically expensive, and also exposes animals to the risks of predation. In the cases of caribou, by wolves that follow the herd. So caribou are the herbivores which are present in North America, and these are followed by the wolves. But the benefits of migration in terms of food availability and quality must outweigh their costs. So here you can see the ranges of caribou herds in North America, also showing their calving grounds to which they migrate each spring. So here you can see the calving grounds are shown in the black color, while the total range in which these caribou are found are in the dark blue color. So they are migrating towards these breeding grounds each spring, and they will be calving there. And then there is the migration. The birds are among the most mobile of the animals, and many species resort to migration in order to maximize food supply, especially during the breeding season. So, most extraordinary of all migrant birds is the Arctic tern, uh, which is Sterna paradisaea, which nests in Arctic and travels to the Antarctic during the northern hemisphere winter. So, when there is winter in northern hemisphere, which is in the November, December, January, that this stern will migrate towards the Antarctica, where there is summer there. So this bird must enjoy the more daylight in the course of its life than any other organism. So this bird is always in the eternal sunshine of the summer. So here you can see the breeding grounds and migratory routes and wintering areas of the Arctic tern. So you can see the arrows from the Arctic region to the Antarctic region. So in the winter, this Arctic tern will move from the northern pole to the south pole. So it is migrating in 1 year to the whole distance between the north and south pole.